play. You got to play that, babe.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm doing my everyday glam makeup routine. I don't do this every day, but this is kind of my go-to glam makeup. Yeah, so stay tuned if you guys want to see how I get this look and see all my favorite products that I use on the daily. And yeah, so keep watching if you want to see how I do my little everyday glam. Okay, so now I'm gonna get started. So before anything else, I always start with my base. So I just wash my face and I'm gonna go in with the Glow Raspberry Dewdrops and then the Embryolisse moisturizer. Normally I like to do this and then this. I like to do it backwards, but today I'm kind of want to do this first. So I do about 2 pumps of this, nothing crazy. And with the weather that is happening in Toronto right now is very dry. I just have dry skin like year round, but like with like really cold like wind and stuff, it dries out my skin even more. Now we're done with that. Now I'm gonna go with the Embryolisse. And this I use as my moisturizer, and I find having this as like a primer works great too. So I just go in with a lot of this. And it looks like a crazy amount, but like I said, since my skin's dry, my skin just soaks it all up. And if there is any extra, then I just bring it down my neck. I mean, I don't think I'm gonna go out today, or even if I do, it's like overcast, so I'm not gonna put sunscreen on, even though you're supposed to, but just for the purpose of this video. Get into my glam routine now. So I don't do this every day, but routine when I do glam makeup. So since like this is kind of like a get ready with me slash, you know, makeup tutorial, how I get my flawless base, I'm going to talk a little bit about each product I use, or just at least why I like them. So I'm going to start with my NARS Longwear Radiant. I'm pretty sure that's what's called, right? Natural Radiant Longwear Foundation. So this has been my favorite foundation for like 4 or 5 years. It's my absolute favorite. So I'm just going to do a few pumps of that. And I'm going to take my foundation brush and just apply that everywhere. But I love this foundation because it's perfect for dry skin, oily skin too, because I don't think it's not super shiny, but it's like a great amount of coverage and it goes on. You'll see once I blend it with my sponge, but it literally looks just like your skin and it gives like a flawless base application. So I just go in with this, apply it everywhere, and this is kind of what I do. So I go in with my brush, I apply the foundation everywhere, and then obviously bring it down the neck. And then once I'm going into my concealer, I'll actually use my sponge, and that way I don't have any brush marks or anything like that. So that's how I like to start it off, is with the brush. That way it gets, you know, full coverage all over the face, and then I can go in with my concealer and then blend everything up. So now I'm gonna go in with my Tarte Shape Tape Concealer. This is my all-time favorite concealer. I just absolutely love it. And this is in the shade Fair Neutral. So it is quite light, but I want to go for a bright under eye. And normally I don't apply this much concealer like this, but ever since I tried it like a few weeks ago, I really liked how it's turned out. I'll just kind of go pretty heavy with it, to be honest, just because it doesn't turn out cakey. Like, it doesn't look too much or anything. I like to bring a little bit under here. It's kind of my go-to thing. But yeah, like I said, like, it doesn't get too cakey or anything. It just brightens. So I'm gonna do my under eyes last because I like that to sit. Actually, you know what I forgot? Before I go in and blend it, I'm going to use my setting spray. So this is the Morphe Continuous Mist Setting Spray, my favorite setting spray of all time. So I'm gonna do that, and that and give that full coverage effect. And ever since I started doing that in my routine, I've noticed quite a difference just with like the wear of my foundation as well. Let's see, I'm just gonna gently tap this everywhere, get my hair out of the way. And I like doing this light concealer under here because it kind of helps carve out the jawline because it kind of highlights underneath. Obviously, to brighten up the forehead, I do have a very big forehead, or at least in my opinion I do. So I like to highlight it, but then of course I'm gonna go in with contour and bronzer to kind of shrink it, you know? But yeah. So I'm gonna go finish blending this out and then I'll be right back. All right, so now I blended all the concealer out. We're gonna go in and do the cream bronzer, blush, and highlight. Okay, so now I'm gonna go in with the Anastasia cream bronzer, and this is in the shade Amber. And I like to take a dense brush. I don't really know how to explain this, but as you can see, this is the brush I like to use, and I just kind of dip it in there a few times. This is very pigmented, and I just lightly tap it until I see like the amount that I want there. And then let's say if there's more on the brush, then I'll take the rest up here. And then once my brush is kind of free of product, I'll go in and lightly blend it. I don't like to do too much of this because it is kind of more of a warm tone. So I don't want to look orange or, you know, like muddy. So if I need more, let's do a little bit more, tap it in. Do a little swirl if it's getting a little trickier, but as you can see, it adds like a great amount of pigment and color, and it blends out really nicely. So I do this obviously on both sides of my face, just the same as I normally would. And as you can see, I like to apply it above or kind of on my cheekbone. That way I get a more lifted effect. And I'll just lightly go under my jawline, get rid of that double chin. You know what I mean? Like so it's all nicely blended, and down the neck. Because that's the worst, is if there's a line. You do not want the line. And I'm not even gonna lie. Sometimes if I'm in a rush, I'll go out and be like, oh my goodness, there's a line on my jaw. Abort mission. So I always try to now pay more attention and make sure I blend it enough, because even if you blend it, sometimes it's just still there, you know? So I do that, make sure it's blended everywhere. My forehead, my cheekbones, my jawline. And then for the nose. So I recently started using a sharper brush, like an angled brush, to get a really thin and sharp line. So I take that, I dipped it in the contour, and I take that and I go very close to my nose, or sorry, very close to the center part of my nose. Do the little line here, bring down the excess, maybe get a little bit more. And then even if it's sloppy, it's okay, because we can always go back in with a bit of concealer. We're also gonna bake, so that's kind of just what I do. Sometimes it turns out better than other times, but yeah, so that's there. I put a little bit, whatever's left, under my lip to give a shadow to make it look a little bigger, because I don't have big lips. But yeah, so now we're done with this. I'm gonna go in with like a dense kind of blending brush, and I'm gonna just lightly blend this out. So now I'm gonna go with my glam cream blush in the shade Hush Hush. And then we're just gonna stamp this. And I'm using this today instead of my Rare Beauty because I don't really want intense blush today, to be honest, you know? Because the Rare Beauty is very like pigmented. But this actually, I'm just gonna take the other side of my beauty blender. This just blends out like really nicely and natural and just adds a little bit of color. I mean, who knows if it really does anything once you put like powder and like blush on top, but you know, it's just it's just there, you know? So then I'm gonna go in, blend this out quickly. Okay, so now we're gonna go into our powders. So now I'm gonna go in with my Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Filter powder. I can open it. The struggle, okay. So I'm gonna take a little small fluffy brush. I kind of like to tap out the crease because I find if I don't, it doesn't set properly and then it will just look really, really bad. So I go in, I lightly set everywhere, like literally everywhere, even on top of the blush, even on top of the contour. Make sure you get like everywhere that will crease, especially on the eyes, because the concealer will probably crease there if you hadn't seen earlier. Under here, literally everywhere. I am going to go in with my Shade and Light palette. Good old trusty Shade and Light that's been probably 6-7 years old. See, I need a new one because yeah. Anyway, so I'm gonna go in with the middle shade and the first shade, just kind of mix in between since they are kind of gone. And I'm gonna lightly go over where I did the cream contour. This kind of tapered little fluffy brush, you can see, and I'm gonna go in with the first shade and I'm going to do my nose. So I like to be more precise so that I can get the shape that I want. And there we are. And honestly, while we're at it, we can start off the eyes because I just use this. I use the middle shade with a big fluffy brush. And I just go in with my eyes. If you can see it, actually my eyes are a little bit creased still from the concealer. So I'm just gonna use my finger to blend that. And then I'll just go in with this and just do a light swoop, swoop, you know, little swoop, swoop. So now it's time for the baking. So I have 2 baking powders that I like to use. I like to use my Huda Beauty powder for my cheekbones and my forehead. And then I like to use my Givenchy powder for my under eyes because this one is more pink and gives more of a brightening effect. So I'm gonna start off with the Huda Beauty powder. I'm gonna go in with my little triangle puff. These, if you don't have these yet, go grab one because they're actually fire. I like to smooth out the powder by tapping it on the back of my hand, and then I'll carve out where I want to brighten. So I'm gonna bake right under my contour. And see, obviously there's more on my hand, so I'll just pick it up. Powder is the best, like it's very smoothing. So I love using it like anytime I do my makeup. Used to be an Airspun girly, but now we're with Huda Beauty powder. For sure. So, like I said, tap it, the excess, and then press it in. I like to really press in that powder because I find when you really press in the powder, it gives a very blurred effect. When I go with the Givenchy powder, I'll show you guys what kind of pink color this is, if you guys can see. I don't want to spill it. Can you guys see? Yeah, so it's pink. It doesn't, I mean, there's pinker powders, but I just like this one because it's very fine and it gives that brightening. So now this is also where we're gonna carve out our nose as well. So I'm gonna go right up against where I contoured, if you guys can see that. And then I'm gonna work my way over and up. The thing, this is my issue, is both of these powders, the Huda Beauty powder and the Givenchy powder, they both have talc or whatever it is, the cancer carcinogen, right? So obviously I'm not gonna waste them. I'm gonna use them, they're expensive. But I wanna find another option that doesn't have the talc stuff in it because I'm not trying to die, you know? I'm not trying to get cancer. I mean, everything has carcinogens in it these days, but you know what I mean? So we'll see. I'll do a little hunt for that. And maybe I'll do a video kind of talking about my favorite products that are like safe and good to use. Because I know it's kind of more of like a thing now that people are noticing. it is kind of a bummer that like such good and expensive products are using things like that, because it's not like they don't know, you know, like they know, they know, but they're doing it anyway. So sorry, I'm just adding a little bit more under here because it's kind of melted away. While this is all baking, I'm gonna go in with my MAC blush. So this is in the shade Melba. I take this tapered brush. I don't know why, but I just got started using this for blush and I really like it. So I'm gonna pick up a little bit. And obviously there's gonna be powder here, but we're just gonna lightly go over where we want our blush. And I like this because it's not too much, it's not too bright, but it gives like the prettiest color. I will say, even though I have dry skin and I'm putting all this powder, it looks good, just trust me, like it works. Especially at the end, we'll spray our face with the setting spray and it'll kind of just bring back a bit of life to the skin and the face, but just trust me, it's gonna work out. So I just blend that until I get it where I like it. We can always add more blush once we wipe the powder away, just to see if we want like a bit extra pinkiness. I think, because if I do my brows now, it'll get messed up when I wipe the powder away. So I'm thinking I'm gonna start on my eyeliner. I'm using this glam eyeliner and it's crazy. It's waterproof. It has a little gem on the top. You can see, I'll put my finger so you can see. I'm gonna do a little tiny wing, and I'm not gonna bring it all the way to my inner corner. I'm just gonna do it about halfway. Actually, let me grab my mirror. I'm gonna use my little mirror that I made. Yeah, it's cute. So I'm gonna use this so you guys can see me do my eyeliner. And I'm gonna, hopefully you can see, I'm just gonna do a little tiny wing up and then just connect it. So we're just gonna, actually I think I'm gonna go downwards. Okay, look what I just did. I made it too thick. So abort mission. I'm gonna be putting lashes on top so I can fix it up, or you won't be able to tell once the lashes are on. So looking kind of messy, of course, but we're gonna trust the process. Okay, trust the process. We're gonna get there, no worry. Okay, I'm gonna do the other eye off camera because this is just horrendous. That was meant to be challenging, not just physically. Honestly, that's as good as we're gonna get today. I'm sorry, but it's just too much. So now go in with my little powder brush, wipe away the bake. Before I go back to my eyes, I'm gonna do my eyebrows. Usually use like clear gel, but today I'm just gonna lightly use my Anastasia brow gel. It's a brown shade. I have a little bit of sparseness. Also, it gets rid of that powder cast that gets on the eyebrows. And then I'm gonna let that sit before I brush them into the spot that I want. Touch it up. So I'm gonna let those sit. They probably look crazy, but we're gonna let that sit. I'm gonna go in with my Marcel crayon eyeliner. Now I'm gonna go with this, and I'm gonna do my waterline. I have to be careful because sometimes it transfers to the bottom, like if I smudge it. Oh, there's that. So now we're gonna find my lashes. I have the cutest little lash case. I got it from Amazon, and I put my used lashes in it to hold them because then I can kind of see which is what, you know what I mean, and don't lose them, all that kind of stuff. So, look, not me almost poking my eye out with these tweezers. So I'm gonna use these pair that you can see they're like shorter in the front. The glue in the lashes. Now I'm gonna take my eyelash curler, curl my lashes. Then I'm gonna go in with my favorite mascara ever, the Essence Lash Princess, and this is like the one that gives the false lash effect, so I actually really like it. Yeah, also super cheap. So now I'm just gonna do a light coat on each eye. Now I'm gonna place these on. Also, do you guys ever have that where you put the same lashes on and look two different pairs? Because that's actually really annoying. But while those sit, I'm gonna do my highlight. So I'm gonna go in with my Dior Backstage palette. Okay, I'm using this fluffy brush for my face, and then I'm gonna use a little eyeshadow brush for everything else. So I'm gonna go with a gold color. I just lightly apply that because lately I've just been liking a little bit of a shimmer, nothing too crazy. Then I'll go in with the little eyeshadow brush, take the same color, put it on my nose, the tip of my nose, and in between the contour on the bridge. Under my eyebrow. I'm gonna grab a Q-tip and clean up where that mascara was, if there's any. Just kind of swipe it around. So we're gonna go back in with a fluffy brush, add a little bit more in the crease because I didn't add enough. Then I'm gonna go back in with my Backstage palette, take the deep bronze color, pick up a little bit of that and add that as well in my crease. Just that way it gives a little bronzy effect with the little shimmers, nothing too crazy. We're gonna smoke out the lower lash line, or at least just a little bit. Just add a little bit of color to get some dimension. Go back to the lashes, take your tweezers. What I like to do, grab my tweezers, I grab a little cotton round because there's gonna get some mascara stuck to them and they get like sticky. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna clamp very carefully. Don't want to hurt yourself. This is kind of what gives the like lash extension effect. So then I'll clean off my tweezers, do the next eye. Now that that's done, I like to kind of push up the outer corner of my lashes just to get that more cat eye effect. Like so. I'm gonna take my little blush brush, wipe under my eyes. This kind of just blends in the blush with the under eyes. Now I'm gonna go in with a spoolie. This one's a bit dirty. It has a bit of clear brow gel on it, but I'm gonna brush my eyebrows up and into the space that I want, or into the place that I want. Okay, so now all we have left is lips. But before lips, I'm gonna take my setting spray again and then spray my face. Let that sit. Probably have makeup all over my shirt. Also, while I wait, I like to just blend my neck a bit extra. So now lastly, we're gonna do the lips, and I'm gonna take my lip liner, the NYX Suede Matte Lip Liner in the shade Sandstorm. Before I do that, actually, I'm gonna take a little cotton round and just wipe off the concealer on my lips. So I'm gonna take my lip liner and line my lips. And I like to do a little under here, like so, and a little bit of overline on the top. Then, now that we have the lip liner on, we're gonna just take our little concealer and just add a dot, like that. Back with the go-to. Tap this out. So now after I do my lips like that, I'm gonna go with my Ulta lip oil. This is in the flavor pineapple. Smells so good. I don't know how I feel about this lip right now. It's kind of not giving what it's supposed to give, but that is the finished look. Let me take my headband off. I don't know what my hair is doing, but yeah, this is the finished look. This is my go-to everyday glam kind of routine. Just like to keep it nice and simple. But yeah, thanks for watching, and if you haven't subscribed already, subscribe down below, give this video a like, and yeah, put your notifications on so you guys can find out when I post a new video, which is usually every Friday or Saturday. Yeah, I hope you guys have an amazing weekend, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye. Baby, I wonder, put your sweats on.